Hello.
I need to speak to Funkies.
Saying you finished talking to somebody?
I'm just not leaving the custom. I just wanted to make you laugh right quick.
Talking to somebody.
Get ready to head back to the house.
Okay. Dang, and I called you for
I poured some
reason.
bleach and vinegar down the drain and saw your little post-it.
You see my honey-do list? Did you find the other post-it?
The one with the food on
the chair?
What chair?
No. You should have 3. One is on the
Damn.
chair saying you should have 3 pink post-its.
I only saw 2.
One on the drain, the slow drain, and then the other one is for Stanley's food. Give him the food, but keep the bag.
You just looked outside. Stanley got a fucking all you can eat going on back there.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I was just saying, like, don't throw away that bag. I could use that bag for something.
Okay. And what's the other one?
Yeah, that's all. And the other one is the chair in the dining area. I have it facing the wall because it's loose.
It's got to be tightened up.
Yeah. So I put I think I put tighten chair or something like that. Oh, and there's another one for you that I didn't put the pink post-it on, but it's upstairs in front of the closet. I thought maybe you'll see my fan. Boom! As soon as you come out the door, it's like boom, right there.
I'm ready to go work on it right now.
Okay, cool.
It's either gonna work or it's going to go. If you see it side of the road, then you know it didn't work out.
And then you need to cash at me my money to replace my thing because it was working perfectly fine.
I'm gonna get you one of them white ones like mine.
No, it better come with a remote control. That's all I say.
It come with a remote. I don't mean it gonna work really.
I don't care. You need to replace my remote control.
Somebody got their remote. Take it to that motherfucker.
Okay, I ain't trying to hear you. You ain't gonna have me out of my. I hate having to get up and turn off the damn fan. I need my remote control fan. That's why I purchased it. No.
Yeah. Well, let's hope we can fix it then, because if not, you get ready to get a white one like everybody else.
No.
With a TV remote attached to that motherfucker. It's a fucking Samsung fan.
You need to replace mine.
Your fan gonna say Samsung. The HDMI.
Does? Who's Mark Spain? He died. He's a Virginia TV news anchor.
Oh yeah, Mark Spain is dead. Wow.
Virginia TV news anchor was 64.
Wow. Who you ran for office? He used to work in Atlanta.
Hang on, it was something else outside the honey-do list that I wanted to say to you. Now you made me forget.
I'm busy, man. I ain't got time.
Don't tell me you're busy.
Busy, man. Gotta go to the bank. Damn, Mega Millions is $1 billion.
So you should play it out there in Mapleton. Play one there. I'll play one here in Atlanta.
145 million is the Powerball. Mega Million is 1 billion.
Ooh, we should play that. We should play in different parts though. So that way our chances, like, I play here in Atlanta, you play there in Mapleton, then we both play in Loganville. I think we should, like, try our chances. Hold on.
That damn music.
to call the tuxedo place that you want to go get fitted to see if they're going to be open around after those holidays
Sure, you got the
week?
number?
Are we still? No, that's what I was calling to ask you
I
the
thought
name
we
and
took the
number
pictures
or.
and stuff like that. I forgot.
Oh,
We took pictures, didn't we?
okay. We did.
I thought
Did
we
you
did.
send it to me and through a text? Because I don't delete any of your texts.
I might have had, yep, shared it with you. But damn, I don't forgot.
Oh, okay, because I was just thinking about that. If we're driving next week, because I just put in for Friday of next week off. So if we're gonna drive up there.
But I just said I'm not going.
Oh, you did?
This morning, remember I told you I texted Nicole. Like, shit.
No, I meant for like us, me and you to go up there and to do your suit fitting. No, we're not doing that up there.
Let's see what
We're
happens.
gonna do it down
It's
here.
time to grind. I don't know what to do right now.
Okay.
Grinding.
All right, babe. I'm sorry. I was just trying to be prepared.
upset about the other situation, so
Okay.
I was trying to knock out two birds with one stone, but since you're going to add ignorant,
no, but the kids was going this week, and we were going next week to do that. So those are two different. Okay, all right. So we might as well just look here then.
No, we can wait till another appropriate time to go up there.
Okay.
I mean, January, February, Valentine's Day. We got. When is Mother's Day?
May. Mother's Day is, I believe, is the Sunday after our wedding.
Oh, so what's before that?
I know I work every Saturday in April. Valentine's Day is the only time that weekend I would have off.
What about Easter?
I work Saturday.
What's Easter?
I work That's what I thought we was going when I did.
No, when is Easter?
Hold on, let me look at the calendar. I got my 2025 calendar right here. Easter. I know July 4, we got my family reunion in New York. That's after the wedding. To get married in May. July 4th, family reunion.
Easter is in April, ain't it?
Easter is April 20th. Sunday.
No, it's not Valentine's Day, Easter. Let's move it to Valentine's Day or Easter.
So Valentine's Day, I need to look at my Saturday work schedule, and I'll let you know about that, okay? On when I'll be able to go, or you might have to go by yourself with my color of my dress, and so that way your white and gold is the same like mine. Now I gotta look at. I have to look at my Saturday work days. I'm gonna have to switch with someone. So, well, I took off next week Friday. I guess I'll delete it. You're not going. I'll come and do. No. You know what? I think I'm gonna keep that day off. I'm gonna just give me a 3-day weekend. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay. All right. So I don't need to call them. That's why I was calling you about your fitting. Okay. So I can delete that. Take that off the list. And I guess
I need to go in the store. Hang on.
Alright. You can call me back when you're done. You heard me? Babe.
Got my ticket. I went to. You there? Funky ass is gone. 1, 7, 17, 20, 59, and 16. I had to go to the bank. I always go to an obscure store to try to get one. How'd I do it? Are you ready for the Trumps? Are y'all ready for the Trumps?
Then turn into the biggest victims when the cuffs come on for the camera. My favorite line, y'all doing too much.
Y'all doing
Getting
way too
secondhand
much.
embarrassment. Nope, we got to get it. Get left or get rolled on into 2025. These are ones that start selling box. She all the way out of here. I appreciate you. The jokes write themselves. Absolutely. J-Man says, so she was the one in Akon section, huh? Bust down. Spaces said from petty theft to forgery to assaulting officers. You're getting all 3 charges. Her hairstylist needs to go to prison too. Her part so wide I can see her thoughts. Oh, Danny. Dub Dad, shout out to you. I appreciate you. She had one ID saying she from Texas, Maryland, and the other ID saying Idaho over there. Man, listen. My dog, Fat Brown in the building, says Chicago PD would never, but ironically, she couldn't work in any of the Walmarts actually in Chicago due to them all being shut down to residents for high theft. That is a phenomenal point, my dog, Fat Brown. Live Your Purpose coverage says, it's sad because if she was a pleasant person, they wouldn't have done the extra. I abused gas points one time in undergrad as a cashier. Free gas, and they let me go because I was broke and a humble college kid. Yeah, attitude does mean a lot. It does take you a long way. Moon McDaniels in the building says, Anton, we're excited. You're coming to DC. Where can I send your Trump merch? Everything is down in the description. My address is in the description. Country Boy Finesse says, what up? Learning a lot in the market. Market is up 42%. Shout out to all of the bag chasers and everybody running up a bag. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Let me just double check one thing to make sure that I ain't forgetting nobody. Oh my gosh. What is happening right now? First of all, I got to give a round of applause to Molly. Molly don't like no dusties, and Molly stay holding me down on Cash App. Molly, you out of control with that. You out of control with that big dog Cash App that you just sent. I'm about to send that back to you. I don't like that. I don't like girls giving me money. I don't like girls giving me money. I'm about to send Molly this back. Pay this back. Let me send it back. You send it to me, I'm going to send it back double. You know what I'm saying? You send it to me, I'm sending it back double. How about that? Because we balling over here. Shout out to my girl Molly. I appreciate you. She going to try to send me all of this money. She sent me a bag. Molly going to try to send me a bag. You can't send me a bag. I send out bags. You can't send me a bag. I send out bags. Now, how about that? Oh my God, look at Chris James. Chris James, you out of control. You out of control. Big dog status. Big dog status. I can't. My people love me so much. My chasers love me so much. My chasers love me so much. Y'all are the greatest audience on the face of the earth. Shout out to Chris James. Shout out to Molly. Shout out to everybody that hold me down. When y'all get women that send y'all money, y'all come holler at me. When y'all get some women that send y'all some money, y'all come holler at me. We don't do Dusty over here. Let's continue on with the show. All right, y'all, we got to continue with the show. Biden is under fire for commuting the sentences of roughly 34 to 37 death row inmates. Of roughly 34 to 37 death row inmates. I want to see what y'all thoughts are on this, because this is one of the rare few subjects where I'm a little bit torn. All right, I'm gonna get it from both the liberal side, CNN, and I'm gonna get it from the conservative side, Fox News, and then we're gonna have a conversation. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's ride.
Turning now to the surprise action today by President Biden, commuting the sentences of 37 of the 40 federal prisoners currently on death row, commuting those sentences to life without parole. Now, this comes, of course, before the president-elect, who supports capital punishment, takes office. The Trump transition team calling the move a, quote, abhorrent decision, adding that it benefits those, quote, among the worst killers in the world. Back with us, Jet Tubin, who's the author of the upcoming book, The Pardon, The Politics of Presidential Mercy, and also U.S. former federal judge Nancy Gertner. Good to have both of you. Judge Gertner, I want to point out, you were one of those 38 legal voices who sent a letter to President Biden asking him specifically to commute all the sentences of those on federal death row. How do you feel about this decision to commute all but 3?
Well, I think the decision to commute,
Thank you, Angela,
even the numbers that he did,
Shout out
was
to Kicking It With a
terribly
Show.
important. There are all sorts of challenges to the death penalty that have been growing over the years. The concern that innocent people are being executed, the profound disparities between black and white people who wind up on death row.
Wait. Before we get into this, why does this always go back to color? Because I don't even know who people are that are on death row. I don't know if they're white. I don't know if they're black. I don't know what they are. Why is this always a color thing? And why is this not a crime thing? When did we start looking at death row inmates, the people that have created or committed some of the most egregious crimes on humanity, and when did we start separating them based off of black and white? If you're talking about drug crimes, you can make a case for that. If you're talking about, white collar crime, you can make a case for that. You can have that discussion. And you can start talking about it. How did this become a color issue when it came to commuting the sentences of death row inmates? That's crazy to me. That is insane to me.
Even the public support for the death penalty has waned. So I think that what President Biden did was exactly right. It's interesting. He was actually a prime sponsor of the 1994 crime bill, which led to additional federal death penalties. So what's interesting is that the facts have moved him, and as they should all of us.
Jeff, I know you've made the point, too, that no one has actually been released from prison because of these commutations and these pardons from President Biden. Those who were pardoned were, had already been released, essentially. Do you anticipate, because he can, that he will go farther in the final weeks of his presidency?
His
pardons are an anomaly in our constitutional system because there are no checks and balances. It's just what the president wants, and you learn a lot about presidents through their pardons.
How many of y'all actually think that the commuting of sentences, these commuting of sentences, possibly come from, or even pardons for that matter, that a lot of pardons or commuting of sentences could come from big money that's being thrown in certain ways? I don't think that it's beyond the realm of possibility. I believe that this whole migrant crisis was a way to continue to launder money. Personally, I can't prove it. That's just my personal opinion. I believe that the migrant crisis, that what we see coming over in our borders, I believe that a lot of what we see happening in politics today is the laundering of money. Personally, you cannot convince me that one way or another. You can't convince me that they let people over here that ultimately torch people on subways and that they're just letting them through and there's no financial incentive that comes along with it. No way in hell. I believe that almost everything you see that happens on a high level, guns, drugs, all of that, I believe that most of it is some form of money laundering. Now, these sentences in particular, I can't speak to, but I can't just dismiss the theories of people that say this, because why would Biden do this?
With Biden, there are very contradictory elements. He is a serious Catholic. The Catholic Church is opposed to the death penalty. one tip-off that he was going
When did Biden
to
become
issue
a serious
these
Catholic?
commutations is he's going to see the Pope next month, and the Pope has urged him to do that. However, he is also part of a generation of Democrats that really wanted to be tough on crime. He was a sponsor of the crime bill under Bill Clinton, which expanded the death penalty, made it harder to challenge death penalty convictions. And he is reluctant to let anyone out of prison. He commuted 1,500 sentences a couple weeks ago. They were all already out of prison. These 37 are never leaving prison. So he has not actually let anyone out of prison yet. And I don't know, as going forward, whether he's going to do that. He has hundreds of Justice Department approved pardon recommendations on his desk. I don't know if he'll sign.
Yeah, what he'll choose to do with those. He, in his statement today, he wrote, "In good conscience, I cannot stand back and let a new administration resume executions that I halted." Judge Gardner, what are your concerns when it comes to President-elect Trump's policy toward executions?
Well, we know the last time that there were, I think it was 13 executions, which his orders had hastened. And
Somebody said, how is it money laundering? All right, do y'all understand how money moves? And I'll give you a small example, right? And I'm not saying that this is true, but let's just explore it for the sake of conversation. Kamala Harris raised over $1.5 billion, right? Over $1.5 billion. Over 4 to 5 million people gave on average over $57 to the Kamala Harris campaign. Several different people was able to see a lot of that money go directly into their pockets by then creating companies and saying that we're a media organization that is advocating for and running ads to your people. I'll give you an example. Let's take Roland Martin. He was pissed and he was saying that he should have got more than $350,000 to his media company. Al Sharpton allegedly got over $500,000. Now, let me ask this question to you. How much of an impact do you think that Al Sharpton had to be able to warrant $500,000 in donations and advertising from the Kamala Harris campaign that would impact this election? Let's go a step further. A lot of the people that then benefited from this, directly benefited from this, were frat brothers, frat sisters, and a part of the Divine Nine. Grew up with this person. Let's take it a step further. How then would this affect you in future business, and more importantly, your ability to be able to give kickbacks, not necessarily directly, but indirectly in a lot of different ways, but also you can justify using somebody else's money in order to achieve more power, which then elevates you to a status that allows for you to be more successful financially. When you start to follow how money moves, right? One of the things that people were criticizing Hunter Biden for was his dealings with China and Ukraine. We just so happen to see a war over in Ukraine. So if, hypothetically speaking, your people is in a position of power, which we then call Democrats the war machine, but then you own a company that then directly benefits from the federal government sponsoring, in my opinion, sponsoring wars that we shouldn't be in. And we always asking the question, well, why are migrants coming over here? Why is this happening? Why is that happening? And then you then are able to benefit directly or indirectly from it, whether it's a company that you own or a manufacturer or a stock that you hold or whatever, which is one of the reasons why they're trying to ban trading within companies. How does that not directly and indirectly affect you when you are one of the decision makers of what happens with legislation and finances inside of the United States of America? Let's continue.
we know that among that group were people with intellectual...
Allegedly. This is all just theory to try to substantiate why people believe the way that they believe. This is not to say that this is facts.
disabilities. We know among that group one woman in particular who had been suffered extraordinary abuse.
I do agree with that, Slimmy. I don't believe that all. That's where me and you disagree with. You said that you believe that every single last politician is compromised. I do not believe that all. I believe that most are. I believe that most human beings are compromised. I believe that most people, let alone politicians, are compromised. apologize.
I mean, these were executions that were done with, in my view, unseemly haste to get them through. And given the kinds of problems with the death penalty, it should give all of us pause. We know that the death penalty is not a meaningful deterrent. The concerns for victims, which are very important, are oftentimes exacerbated by death penalty prosecutions, which last years and years and years. In the Boston bomber case, for example, one of the victims, the family of one of the victims, urged the court to, in fact, allow him to plead guilty to life without parole so it could be over. So I would be very troubled by another sort of rush to kill people, which is really what these executions are.
I'm going to go over and I'm going to get the conservative side, because they're saying that the families of the victims are absolutely outraged at the fact that these people, sentences were commuted, and taxpayers, here's the other side of it. Taxpayers are the ones that foot the bill. What's going on? You know? Taxpayers are the ones that foot the bill. We are the ones that continue to feed these inmates and these prisoners to the tune of, depending on where you at, between $50,000 and $100,000 a year per prisoner. And that taxpayer dollar is going to continue to house you. In addition to whatever crime that you committed, that you then have like 20 years to appeal before you eventually get your sentence commuted. This is what the families are saying, y'all.
Joe Biden commuted death sentences of 37 death row inmates just 2 days before the families of their victims gather for Christmas. Biden defending his move, explaining, quote, "I condemn these murderers and grieve for the victims of their despicable acts, but guided by my conscience and my experience, I am more convinced than ever that we must stop the use of the death penalty."
How many people actually think that Biden is writing his own statements or even giving his own thoughts?
You don't even know what that is.
Joining us now are Heather Turner, Katie Jenkins, and Danny Major, the daughters and husband of Donna Major, who was murdered back in 2017 in a bank robbery by a career criminal whose sentence was just commuted by President Biden. I'm sorry to be talking to all three of you under these circumstances. I cannot even put myself in your position to know how difficult this would be any week, but especially Christmas week. Heather, what was your reaction when you heard the news?
Anger, absolute anger. We were told from our prosecution team on Sunday afternoon. I was actually gathered with my in-laws for our family Christmas. My sister was gathered with her in-laws, and we got the call, and I was angry. I'm still angry. I am upset that this is even happening, that one man can make this decision without even talking to the victims, without any regard for what we've been through, what we're going through. I'm completely hurt, frustrated, and angry.
So Heather, nobody gave you a heads up that this was coming from the White House?
So in May, we heard that this was a possibility. And at that point, we began writing letters to the pardon attorney. I reached out requesting an in-person meeting in DC, and we were refused. They denied our right to have our voices heard, that we're victims. My mother was murdered at the hands of Brandon Hansel. They should have heard our story, and all we got was a 10-minute virtual conference, and clearly that fell on deaf ears. They did not want to hear our story.
Danny, Joe Biden, or whoever made this decision, because it is entirely unclear whether this came from him directly or his people. He's showing mercy to your wife's killer. Was your wife shown any mercy?
She was shown no mercy at all. This man walked into the bank, never said 2 words to her, shot her 3 times in total, went and shot her co-worker, Katie Skeen, as well, who was totally defenseless and unaware of anything was happening.
That's crazy.
It's just beyond me that
crazy.
I can't even believe that this is actually happening. Commuting of sentences like this of 37 victims, all but 3, which was certainly a political scheme. Undoubtedly, Joe Biden was also told by the Pope that he should stop these executions. Now, what the Pope has to do with anything in this country, I don't know. But Joe Biden certainly has no convictions. He's a senile old man. He couldn't tie his shoes, I wouldn't think, if you could see him in person. It's absolutely disgusting.
Well, continuing his MO of the past 4 years, he bent to the far left, whether it is this far left Pope, which many Catholics have said about this Pope, or members of his own party. He has bent the knee to the left wing of the Democrats, and that includes squad member Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, who said this to the news. Listen.
The death penalty has not been proven to be a deterrent of crime. State-sanctioned murder is not justice. And today, what President Biden did demonstrated moral leadership, compassionate leadership, informed by his own faith. It has had a disparate impact on low-income people, Black people, and other marginalized.
See, this is where you lose me, because the reason why it's difficult for me to really have an opinion on this prior to doing more research, and I pride myself in being very well versed, and I also would have to do some research even within my own faith to have this conversation authentically, because there's some things that I'm very confident in speaking about, but this is one of them that I'm conflicted, because I do believe that justice needs to be served, and then at the same time, I'm not sure what justice actually looks like. But it's hard for me to even have this type of opinion that this woman having in front of them. And it's disrespectful because by these death row inmates that's being commuted. Your mother, your wife, I couldn't imagine. You know what? I'm not even sure that my faith will play a role in it, because I'm going to just tell you. Sometimes there are some instances where you just react and everybody gotta go. I'm probably not, I'm gonna call the police to meet me there, but I'm gonna get there before the police do, because I gotta get you. I gotta get to you. Listen, you do something that's some of the most evil, hateful, wildest crimes that's ever, I gotta get you. I see red. I'm gonna ask God for forgiveness after I get to you. I gotta ask God. I'm gonna hope and pray that I ask, that God just see my heart, and that I can make up for it at some point, and hopefully the good outweigh the bad by the time that I die, because I gotta get you. I gotta get you. And for her to just be speaking this matter of fact, without taking into consideration how families are affected, when people are doing some of the most hateful, evil crimes. I mean, listen. There's people that's out here doing some of the worst, nasty things, and then being serial killers when it comes to children. There's people that's out here basically doing some of the most evil, nasty things, and they have no regard for human life. And for her to be sitting here standing on this social justice warrior identity politics disproportionately affect communities of color, man, take that junk and stuff it where the sun don't. Nobody care about that. Get out of here with that nonsense. How can somebody speak so matter of fact about an issue that's not affecting them? You see what I'm saying? I can speak from the lens of a person that was poor, because I was poor at some point in my lifetime, and I understand how poor people think. I know why people go out and take bad loans and stuff like that, which is one of the reasons I try to incentivize people to do something better, because I can speak from that lens. I understand the language of broke. You can't speak on something that you're not familiar with so matter of fact. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's disrespectful to not even take into consideration how the families are affected.
A person's.
Katie, when Ayanna Pressley refers to compassion, what is your response to the Congresswoman?
Compassion? I don't think that that's compassion. The fact that he didn't talk to any of us, the victims of this crime, we trusted the judicial system. We sat through court. I watched my mother be murdered. I have watched images of her body laying on the ground. He does not have compassion for who? A criminal? A criminal? No, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all.
Heather.
So that is what's happening. Biden is currently under fire. I don't think that Biden cares. Honestly, I don't think he cares. It's not anything that he's worried about. He's not worried about his legacy at this point. He's burning down the entire White House. and everything that has ever come with the White House. I don't think that Biden cares. I don't think he checked for nothing that nobody is saying. So it don't even matter. Y'all sitting here complaining. These families are sitting here whining. He wouldn't take a meeting with y'all to hear y'all out in the first place. Shout out to Mr. Guap says, Anton, I'm about to send you a stack. Double it up and send it back. Oh, it has to be authentic. It can't just be, I'm going to send him some money so he can... No, we're not going to Ponzi scheme Anton. Merry Christmas, Anton, Rita, and Les. Peace and blessings. Shout out to Aaron L. Merry Christmas to you also. Rita got her high-end pajamas on. Bob Brown says, AD, he commuted my cousin, Caboni Savage, from Philly, who has been on death row since 2005 for RICO charges. This is just a guilt trip from the 1994 crime bill. Interesting. Unique says, corruption is the sex trafficking on the border. Democrats want illegals for money and play both sides. Diddy Truck, shout out to DITY Truck, says save time and money on your next truck rental worldwide with Diddy Truck. Diddy Truck, YouTube, LinkedIn. I don't know what that means. I don't know if you want to name it. Did you name it Diddy Truck before Diddy started to catch those charges though? Hey, make sure y'all get y'all next truck nationwide rental from Diddy Truck. Best prices, best service, rocking out. Shout out to my people over there at Diddy Truck. Carrie Ferry in the building says, how come they stop reporting on all those harvested bodies found in Chicago and NYC? Every week bodies found without organs in warehouses. Why would they ever want to tell you about that? Slimmy says, so then you do agree that most politicians aren't compromised. What up, though, bro? Salute to the bag chasers in the chat. Hope this day is in motion. Hope y'all day is in motion. After hours round 2 tonight. Hey, after hours tonight is popping, y'all. Unique says that's a conflict of interest big time. Unique also says that's why my young ninjas crash and say go get back. Nah, we don't need none of that. Al Sharpton doesn't have the pull that he think he does, and I agree with that too, Jerry. Mr. Joe says for the collection plate, bless you and your family. Shout out to my people holding it down. I appreciate y'all. A-Man01 says, AD, you are right. Jay-Z said we all lose when the family feuds. Shout out to y'all. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Let's continue on with the show, and we will continue to read super chat. So I want to get into this conversation right here. This was a conversation between the Teamsters boss and Tucker Carlson, and he was basically breaking down, and this is one of the reasons why I love post-election interviews, because we get to see what was happening behind the scenes, all of the conversations during the election. Some of the things that we were seeing was just what was on the surface, just what was reported. And one of the things that was reported was the UAW, Sean Fain, was supporting Kamala Harris and Biden, I think with ulterior motives, but that's just my opinion. But on the flip side, the Teamsters Union not only spoke at the Republican National Convention, but they also withdrew their support for the Democratic Party. And here's some of the insight behind that. I want to go over to the 30-point mark of this podcast. I think that Tucker Carlson, unlike Don Lemon, is doing a phenomenal job with his interviewing skills. But I want to get over to this really quickly. All right.
Has been a good president for us. You're out there jockeying for our support, and they want us to endorse Biden in January. All of Labor did. I'm like, no, we're not doing that. We've got to talk to our members. We're going to make sure where our members are at. So we go through this whole winter getting pressure from, people in the Democratic Party. We stayed the course. No, we're not. We want to interview the candidates, which we've never done before. And we asked every single candidate in January or December to come in and meet with us. The first person to respond was Donald Trump. I'll be in there, definitely, without a doubt. And all these other candidates, RFK right away, Asa Hutchinson, Cornel West, all of them, they came right in. Same format, same questioning like we talked about earlier. And the struggle was getting Biden in here. He didn't like the fact that Trump committed early, or the Democrats didn't like that he committed early. So long story short, we go through this whole process, and we have Biden in there, and, you could just clearly tell he was, not the man he was. And it was kind of sad, because sad. It's sad because you look at it and I think generally, a nice older man, nice older gentleman, right? And what they were doing to him, the Democratic Party, it would kind of look like elderly abuse to me.
Yes.
Everybody knows what the whole world knew But they tried to sit here and play in front of our faces and act like Biden was competent, that he is competent today. Everybody is now coming out and saying, listen, we knew that Biden had no faculties and that he does not have the ability to make a smart decision for himself. But which again, it just tells us who is the person that's making the decisions in the White House right now. Who is the person that's controlling what's going on in the White House? Who is the person that is controlling what's going on in the White House? And everybody, all of the people that is the big bosses that's behind the scenes can tell you, when they now coming out and saying, listen, all right, man, it was elderly abuse. And they was sending this guy up as a prop, and he wasn't really the person that should have been president of the United States of America, and he wasn't competent.
And, you know, we knew we weren't going to go with him. And then after the first debate.
Wait, but so in your meeting with him, it was obvious that
it was. So we give 16 questions 2 weeks in advance, the same 16 questions to each candidate. So, you know, RFK answered all 16 questions. Probably most of them didn't answer them how we would like them to answer them, but they answered them. Joe Biden came in and he answered 5 of them. Donald Trump answered all 16. And then when Biden drops out of the race, but prior to Biden dropping out of the race, he's in the race around June or May. One of my vice presidents, a woman named Joan Corey out of my local, she sits on our general executive.
Before he get into this part of this story, let me just say this one.
Party.
And they tried to paint Trump as the arrogant one. They tried to paint Trump as the arrogant one. If y'all think that this whole charade that Kamala Harris is trying to keep up of, oh my God, it's just me and Dougie. Man, look, bro, you can't convince me that she is not. If she ain't a black woman by genealogy and blood and heritage, she absolutely, positively is one. But when it comes to that attitude, and that's not saying that all black women got bad attitudes, but I'm just going to tell you, the way that he is describing her is probably a more accurate reflection of who she is in real life and all of that. My Dougie, believe it if you want to. Believe it if you want to. The real her is really who she is behind the scenes. All of that Dougie, teach me how to Dougie. Teach none of that. None of that. None of that. Kamala Harris is just like your local TikToker. You know that woman that say, I can't deal with these men. We need to date out. And Dougie was the fool. Dougie was the one that caught the L. I guarantee you that who she presents herself to be with all of them teeth is way different, and he's confirming it. They telling you who she was behind the scenes. Before they even, hey, hi, how you doing? I'm such and such. Part of the executive committee board with the Teamsters. Y'all better get on board. You better get on board. Don't let me tell you again. Don't let me have this conversation with you again. And she up there sitting up there. I love my small business owners. I love people that love their lawns. I love you. You love me. We're a happy family. She hitting us with all of that. Man, I was nobody. And I mean nobody. This is why. Black women, 91%, 92%, 93% voter turnout rate. Black men, 78%, 79%, 80% voter turnout rate. This is why y'all keep ending up in family court, because you ain't praying for discernment. Because you can't tell the difference between a chameleon if it's right in front of your face. She showed you who she is. She's been showing you who she is her whole career. She went from Montel Williams to Dougie, and you can't see it. And y'all keep talking about all of these women as chameleons. You couldn't notice one if it was right in front of your face. You still voted for her. You voted for her. You voted for her. So don't tell me you have the ability to pick a wife. I don't want to hear from none of y'all no more. Every last one of y'all that voted for her, I don't want to hear it from you. Take your L.
So fast forward, she finally agrees to come. after we were putting pressure on her, you know, basically, because I was doing interviews all over the place saying, we haven't got invited to the DNC. You know, they haven't accepted our invitation for her to come to a roundtable, so she comes to the roundtable. Same format, same questions. Rank and file members are asking her questions just like they asked every other candidate. And they were trying to negotiate with us. She only wants to answer 3 questions. We're like, there's 16 questions here. So she answers 3 of them. And on the 4th question, one of her operatives or one of her staff slips a note in front of me. This will be the last question. And it was 20 minutes earlier than the time that it was going to end.
Come on.
100%. And so, you know, you're there trying to get our support. And her declaration on the way out was, I'm going to win with you or without you.
She thought that or said it out loud?
She said it out loud.
That's insane.
So
that's crazy behavior, actually, if you think about it.
It was insane behavior, which at that point in time, I knew she was going to lose. Me, that's just my unqualified opinion. I got a gut instinct, and I'm like,
well, you turned out to be right.
Someone this arrogant, forget anything else, but you put your finger in someone's face at an Emily's List event once you find out they're with the Teamsters, and you say, you better get on board or else. That's a problem. And then you come before us, you don't answer the question, you want to dictate what you're going to answer, and then you leave 20 minutes before it's over. And the one difference between all the candidates that came was that at the conclusion of all these roundtables, we had media set up. So after conclusion of meeting with Trump, I did a press conference down in the lobby of my building. Well, Donald Trump did a press conference down in the lobby of my building after he spoke. The same offer was extended to both President Biden and Vice President Harris, and they refused. So you're meeting with the biggest labor organization that you want, and you've got an opportunity for media to question you about how you felt the meeting went and what you wanted to achieve, and you don't want to speak to the media?
And let me tell you why. Because it's not even their fault. I'm going to shoot Kamala Harris some bail. It's 2 reasons why she was justified in taking this position against the labor unions and against the culture. It's 2 reasons why. All right. The first reason why is because why would they do anything differently if they already expect for you to endorse them and give you your vote? The only community, business leaders, so on and so forth, that decided that they wanted to go along with the Kamala Harris campaign, because everybody started questioning how they moved. The Teamsters Union, everything. The only two groups of people was the UAW, in which their members didn't agree, and the black community, which basically justifies the fact that they're going to look at you as, oh, wait a minute, who you think you are? It's the reason why Obama and Michelle Obama and everybody started calling us misogynistic or turncoats for not voting for Kamala Harris, because she's a Democrat, she's a woman, and she's a black woman, according to how they was trying to market it. They expected your vote. They didn't expect to win your vote, and they didn't start to pivot on that verbiage until they started getting pushed back in the community, and then they sent y'all savior, Obama, and they sent y'all slaver, Michelle, to come and rein y'all back in. And that's why we call it the Democrat plantation. It's one of the reasons why we call it the Democrat plantation, because the expectation is for you to stay there and get your back kicked in, and for you to get no benefits of it as a result. They expect it. What? Oh, you're not gonna vote for me even though you paying my salary with your tax dollars? Okay. All right, watch when I get in. On the flip side, Trump look at everything from a business perspective. He understands the art of the deal. He understands sales. He understands people. He understands how to market himself more effectively to people. And so while he was over there doing every single thing, shaking hands, kissing babies, pulling up to the ops, not trying to control the narrative, letting people say whatever it is that they wanted to say, and dealing with them accordingly, while at the same time making himself accessible to the people who he was seeking endorsements from. That is the difference between winning every single swing state and expecting people to vote for you just because you're a woman, just because you're black, or just because you profess yourself to be black, and just because they vote Democrat. There was no reason for them to expect anything other than exactly what they wanted from you. And we the only communities that gave into it and said, yep, you're right. The arrogance of you people. The arrogance of you people. Let me read some of these super chats, and then I want to go into the business side of things really quickly. Shout out to Aaron L. Aaron L says, do you think Biden is going crazy because they played him this summer during the election? I don't think he's going crazy. I think he burning everything down to the ground. I don't think he's going crazy at all. I think he know exactly what's going on. Miss Crow T. Shetty. Shout out to Miss Crow T. Shetty. I appreciate you. Young Blood City is in the building, says Merry Christmas and happy holidays to you, and especially the Chasers. Shout out to Mr. Young Blood City. I appreciate you. Unique says, you met Trump? I did. I had an opportunity to meet him. I did, and I'm expecting. Well, I don't want to get into that part. Slimmy says, not thanking no union members no more. And see, the thing that she professed versus the thing that she was saying behind the scenes was different, Slimmy. You better thank a union member.
You better
and meanwhile,
thank
she
her.
was saying, y'all better get on board. Steve Montage Official says, nah, AD, this is how a lot of women act with power. This is how a lot of women act without power. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel with turn on your notifications. If y'all have not already, make sure y'all join the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. We will be live streaming, doing a makeup live stream show on Saturday because we took off Christmas. And then we gonna expect to do a live stream in the Patreon either Sunday or Monday.